Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you everyone, welcome. I'll just take my shoes off. So, welcome for, I think I haven't seen you before. What's your name? Anandya. Anandya, hi. Aishta. How long have you been involved in? Pardon? How long have you been involved?
In Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Oh, Hare Krishna, wonderful. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. I'm just going to give you a Bhagavad Gita. Do you have one? Yeah. Yeah, let's get you one. Have you read this? Okay.
I'm just reading Krishna.
Okay, right, yeah, okay. So what I'll do is we're doing it from the basics all the way up, so don't stress. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll do a summary of the first 2 chapters, and then we're going to look at a verse in the 18th chapter. Okay, so we'll go slowly. If it's getting too complicated, just stick your hand up and then we can have a chat, yeah? So don't want to lose anyone. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. And you've been the mercy of your association. I'm just going to read out the prayer. So if you go to page 1, which is an introduction, you can see the prayers. That's the non-Roman numeral pages. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananyana Salakya Kaksarum Militum Yena Tasme Sri Guru Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swaya Rupa Kadamayam Vidati Swapandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupa Sadratam Sagana Ragnata Vitam Tam Sajivam Savetam Savadutam Parijanaya Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visam Samvitam Sja He Krishna Karo Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpati Gopisa Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namostute Atta Kancha Gorangi Radha Vrindavasari Visabenu Sutta Devi Panamai Hari Priye Vancha Kalpat Krupascha Kripa Sindhavaya Evacha Patinanayam Pavanabhayo Vaishnavayo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So what we'll always do is always recap so we can keep, eventually we'll learn it inside out. You know? So we'll do the first 3 chapters. So if you remember the first 2 chapters, there was an acronym. So Conch and Transcend. So the first chapter, of course, Dhritarashtra is asking, you know, he's the father of the evil side, let's put, and his son is called Duryodhana, if you didn't know. So he's fighting the Pandavas, who are the basically been created out of the demigods. So it's like a battle between good and evil. And the evil guys have some pretty amazing warriors, you know, like Bhishma, who can decide when he can be killed. So the evil guys are very confident that they're going to win this battle. So Dhritarashtra is the son of Duryodhana, who wants his son to take over as king, is be given an allowance to see what's going on in the battlefield, even if he's blind. And that allowance has been given by to his servant Sanjaya, by Vyadvasa, who's an incarnation of a plenary expansion of Krishna. So the first chapter is when everyone was on the battlefield, huge armies, and my sons were there, the sons of Pandu were there, what happened. And Pandu was his brother. So you've got his sons, and then their cousins are on the other side. You know? So one of the things we emphasized here in this class is that the first mistake is already in the first verse, which is that Dhritarashtra is distinguishing between his sons and the sons of his brother. And in fact, he should be seeing everyone as part of God. So the very question, the nature of that question, what did my sons do? And what did what the other guys do? This is mine, you know, is already a sign of ignorance, because everything belongs to God. Everything belongs to Krishna. Yeah? So, but that's his first question. So the first chapter you have, this conch thing will tell you what goes on in the first chapter. So Sanjaya talks about, just some really great warriors on your side, and really some good, interesting warriors on the other side as well. So we call it comparison of the armies, first few verses. Then you've got the omens. So in the Bhagavad Gita, the good side is described as having very pious people, as having, the transcendental conch shells, and having Hanuman on the flag, on the chariot of Arjuna. So all these very auspicious signs for Arjuna. And then this is when the special Bhagavad Gita starts to begin, the preliminary elements. So Arjuna asks Krishna to navigate him between the two armies, yeah? So we see the word navigator there, yeah? Yeah, so he has to look. And suddenly he's in this huge, in the middle of these giant armies with lots of noise, and he's like, whoa, this is a bit much, you know? Oh, look at all those guys, they're my relatives, and they look really angry, you know? And then he feels really compassion. It's like, why should we kill these guys, you know? Something starts happening to his mind, you know? Even if they're evil, even if they want to steal the land, I mean, come on, it's only land, why kill these people for land, you know? And then he talks about the damage to heritage, damage to society if there's war. Because war is a very bad thing, you know? So he's a devotee of the Lord, so he's worried about bloodshed. So by the end of the first chapter, he's really, these concerns are coming out, right? So very commonly, people read the Bhagavad Gita, different translations, and the common understanding is, oh my God, you know, he was really a nice guy, this guy Arjuna, and suddenly the start of the second chapter, you know, he doesn't start saying, well, I don't really want to take part in this, this is horrible. And what happens is, over the next 16 chapters by chapter 18, he's ready to kill these people, right? So the common criticism is, well, this is a bloodthirsty kind of book, right? It's getting this guy worked up. He's such a nice dude. What happened? You know, and so we're going to understand why he ends up fighting and why it's the right thing to do. Okay. So, conveniently, I did not bring a ball rubber, so that's for my plans. That's what leftover COVID loss is for. So we've got the second chapter. Which is transcend. Krishna will start sort of talking to Arjuna a bit more. So you've got Arjuna tells Krishna, I won't fight, I'm not going to fight, reluctance to fight. Then you've got Krishna starting the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, starting with all the soldiers. Okay? So verse 2.7, that verse, Arjuna is going to say, you know, I'm really confused, I don't know what to do. It's very noisy and horrible here. You know, I've lost the difference between right and wrong, and the miserly weakness has taken over me. Can you please instruct me? Yep. So the last last few words of that verse are Mam Tvam Prapadam. I will surrender to you, you give me instructions, yeah? Sisyas yete ham sadi Mam Tvam Prapadam. Sisyas was disciple in Sanskrit, yeah? So I will be your disciple. So the surrender to the Lord is what's going to begin the teachings. This humble surrender is kind of, I can't work this out on my own, okay? So this is the idea. You have to have humble surrender to sort of progress in your understanding of Bhakti, right? Bhakti understanding. So then you've got these ideas that the soul can't be destroyed. So Krishna starts, it's unborn, yeah, Ajnana, eternal, you know, Yam Purana, all this stuff, you know. 2.13, Dehi nos mahim yata dehi, Kodam Jodam Jala, Tata Dehatra Bhakti, the soul goes from young age to youth to old age, doesn't change, goes into another body. Krishna says, Dhiras, a sober person is not bewildered by such a change, yeah, or with a steady mind. Yeah? And then we get into spiritual side of things. Yeah? And we can talk a bit more about you know, what's to be done and what's not to be done. So it builds on that idea of like, you know, don't worry, fight. It's your body. Even if you didn't believe it was a soul, it's only a body. You know, don't be too attached to it. You know, and then you've got these ideas of equanimity or equiposition. Yeah, you stay steady. Yeah. And then the final aspect of the chapter is detachment. Okay. So at verse 2.54, Arjuna will ask the question, is that if someone really understands and not the body and the soul, how do they actually behave? What in your way, Krishna, is the way you should behave if you truly understand and not the body? And then a description is given, for our sakes, of this is how we need to behave and understand the world. Yeah? So we get this idea of somebody who can control the senses, bring them into the body. Yeah? Like a tortoise brings the senses back into the shell. It brings them back into understanding that in the heart there's the soul, which is your individual soul, and there's Krishna. And a person who doesn't let his senses go everywhere, pulls them back to Krishna constantly, right, will be close to Krishna. Right? And that's repeated throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah? So that's a kind of very quick summary of the first 2 chapters. Okay? Yeah. So I mean, if you come every week, we'll do it again and again in more detail, and then you'll just like a few months you know it, and then when you eventually read it on your own, the idea is that it's a lot easier. It's like you'll smoothly go through it. Yeah, because I mean, even I'm an academic by nature, but I still had to have lessons on it from other people who are pure devotees. Yeah. The Bhagavad Gita is dependent on devotional service. Well, it's for the devotee, it's not for the non-devotee, to understand. So let's have a look at this verse 18.2. So this is the chapter on the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasyam Sanyasam Kavo Vidu Sarvasa Karma Phalatyagam Fastyagam Vikasyana. Okay.
Which verse is it?
So it's page, it's 18.2.
Oh.
Chapter 18, verse 2. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you didn't pick that up to us.
Oh, sorry, forgive me. Yeah, it's right. So it's the second verse of the 18th chapter.
Yeah.
Just figured out with the chapter, it tells you what the chapter is.
Right, sorry, yeah, forgive me. Yeah. So have you found it? Yeah. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what learned men call the renounced order of life, sannyas. And giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation, jhana. Okay?
Mine is saying the Supreme Lord said to give up the results.
Yeah, well, we're going to explain that in a minute. So, this is Arjuna is asking. So, for the devotee,
I'm on the right.
yeah, if you're reading Supreme, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire. Is that the verse?
No,
Let me just see which verse you've got.
to give up the results of one activity.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that it?
Yes, correct. That's it, Okay, once you've read it, let me know. Okay. To yourself, slowly. Yeah, don't go any further than this verse, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Okay? So Arjuna is asking, the verse before he's asking a question. Okay, this is a very, very common question. It's like if you were going to many Bhagavad Gita classes, it comes up in different ways, or Bhagavatam classes, this question comes up in different angles. Okay, so what is the difference between the renounced order of life, which is you go off and meditate in the forest and don't have any worldly things around you? Yeah, that's what is, sannyas, and renunciation, tyag. Okay. And I think Arjuna, at this point, he's got this, he's starting to really put everything together in his head, of everything that's been spoken of in the previous 17 chapters. Right? Now, Krishna is very, very, very merciful, right? Very merciful here for us, okay? And What he's effectively saying, right, is that being renounced, the state of being in a forest and trying to close all your senses down, being actually renounced is a state of being. Right? And the reason he's saying that is at this time there's something called the Varnashra ashram, right? Which is like the 4 pillars of society and then the 4 ashrams. Okay? So people go through life, they have their dharmic nature, so they're born into being a brahmana, a kshatriya, a merchant, a vaisya, or a sudra, and that's their nature, so they'll occupy those kind of positions in life. And there's also progressive institutions of periods of your life that allow you to spiritually progress. And one of them is the renounced order, which is like, you know, you go off and you give everything up and you go and meditate on God, right? But Krishna is telling the secret to bhakti, the secret to love of God, right, is a state of being. It's not some external thing. Hello? Come in. Come in. Yeah, I'll just grab that. Perfect.
Thank you.
So, what that means is, in order to be like an ideal saint in the jungle just thinking about God, or in some forest, what you need to do is actually push all your activities towards Krishna. That is being renounced. If every activity of yours is for the pleasure of the Lord, you are truly renounced. Okay? Now the example, I was trying to do a video cartoon on this. The best example to give to understand this is to give an extreme example. Okay? So let's look at a popular kind of person. Like, let's look at Elon Musk, because we all know who that is, right? Right? So Elon Musk, let's imagine he's got all these factories, right? There's a factory building with smoke coming out. This is a Tesla factory, this is a rocket factory, this is one of his IT, AI, PayPal buildings that he made money on. Right? He's got hundreds of workers in there, like I say, it's 2,000 people working in there. Right? Yeah. This is Elon Musk. Here's a picture of Elon Musk. That's Elon Musk now. This is Elon Musk when he was 18. Much thinner. Okay. So all these things, he owns all these things. And let's say secretly, right, almost 95% of the profits coming out of all these enterprises are going to fund food distribution, prasadam distribution in poor parts of the world and rich parts of the world. Yeah? Yeah, so wherever you go in the world, you get free prasadam by airports. He's secretly funding this. Right? People think he's some like, oh yeah, money, I'm going to go up to space. But he's actually secretly doing all this. And he's actually opening up temples and encouraging people to go to different cities and do Harinam. He's paying for their flights. Right?
Is he doing that?
No, he's not.
Oh.
No, he's not. He's not doing any of this. Right? So at the moment, Elon Musk is in the conditioned state of life. He's in the mode of nature, right? He's in the mode of passion and ignorance, right? Particularly a mode of passion and quite a bit of ignorance, right? There's some tinges of good. But if he was to do all this, right? And every day he's in his office, he's actually thinking, how can I use the next factory to help Krishna? How do I design that factory to help? What can we do at that factory? Because this temple in Argentina really needs help, right? So his mind is constantly on Krishna. How do I help Krishna? How do I help Krishna? What Krishna is saying in this verse is that's the renounced order. That's to be renounced. Yeah? Because there's nothing for his own sense gratification. So it's not the question of being wealthy or poor or being in a forest. It's a state of mind. Yeah? There's a very famous American poet called Alan Elman, who was famous quote. He said, "Youth is not a state of mind. It's not a state of life. It's not age. It's a state of mind." You know, that quote. It's the victory over courage, over adversity, over the appetite of adventure, over the love of ease. Yeah? Don't think about what your actual body, physical is. Think about your spirit. Yeah? So it's the spirit of what you do everything in. Yeah? So we have a very Hollywoodized notion of what sanctity is, what purity is, what piety is, from media, right? That's kind of polluted our heads. Why is Prabhupada driving in a Rolls Royce? Why is all these kind of really confusing things that you see that on the internet that happen? And the thing is, it's about, the externality is not important. It's about where you are in your bhakti. Yeah? That's the most important thing. So, in terms of progressing in bhakti, what you start to do and start to repeat into your brain, another word for the word repeat is the word inculcate. Yeah? It's an English word, old-fashioned English word. Inculcate means you get something by repeating it to yourself. And the root word of inculcate is inculcare in Latin, which means to stamp something in with a heel. That's literally what it means. Yeah? Because the human brain, the way it's wired is if you keep repeating it, it will change its behavior. Right? It's just the way it's designed, which is really, really hopeful and beneficial if you're trying to be a devotee, because you just got to keep hammering it in. And suddenly you find, wow, I can do that. I can do all these, chant all these rounds or whatever. You know? It's that inculcation, stamping you with the heel. So you start thinking, okay, how can I do this for Krishna's pleasure? What am I going to do today for Krishna's pleasure? What am I, how am I going to do that that's going to help Krishna? You know? And what you'll realize is that you'll get happier and happier as you do this. Because what you're doing is you're renouncing, contemplating what the results of those actions are. What Arjuna is constantly worried about at the start of the Gita, oh my God, I'm going to kill these guys, kill the cousins, kill all these people, the world will come to an end, you know. But Krishna is asking him to fight for Krishna. The point of the Bhagavad Gita is to say, forget all that. The ultimate dharma, the ultimate religion is what I want. That's the purpose of all the religion. Like, all the religions in the world are created by me through the merge of nature, so you can eventually just come to me. But you're not ready yet. So if you start thinking, how do I do everything for Krishna? You're understanding that everything is owned by Krishna, including your body. Everything belongs to Krishna and is to be served for Krishna. And the thing is, that's what's going to make you instantly happy. Because it's like, it's not about you anymore. Isn't that great? Like, you know, if it's not about you anymore, you don't have to stress about mortgage payments, jobs, and all that. You're going to work in the morning. I'm going to work for Krishna because then I can, you know, when I get paid at the end of the month, I need to go and distribute these 3 books. And you start planning around your bhakti, how to give to the Lord. And your stress is going to go. Because you'll start reading the Bhagavad Gita and it'll go, you know, there's this guy, they don't get affected by happiness or sadness. You know, they don't get affected by horrible things happening, the changes of the weather, and whether they seek pleasure or pain, and all that stuff. But those things philosophically are attractive, but they don't make sense unless somebody's doing it for Krishna. So the end of chapter 2, when Arjuna says, who is the ideal transcendental person? Krishna says, someone that doesn't get affected by anything. How is that possible? How can you not be affected by anything? But the answer is because you're doing everything for God, right? So the standard in the spiritual world, this is a very useful common example. The standard in the spiritual world is that if all the gopis, the pure devotees, are making cakes for Krishna, and they make hundreds of cakes, right? And they bring them in a car. Hey, Krishna, I've got all these cakes for you. And Krishna is going, I'm not hungry, he walks off. What they do is, they just follow him and go, okay, what does he want to do? They don't think, oh my God, I made all these cakes, he doesn't want them. Yeah? Because their only interest is what he wants to do. Right? So they don't have this hiccup about, well, kind of, if I do this with Krishna, that happen. Because they're not self-interested. That's self-interested. They're only interested in making the Lord happy. Right? So this idea of dispossessing yourself of what you think are your possessions and realizing they belong to Krishna is going to make you progress in that direction. Okay? Yeah? So but that's a gradual process. If you repeat that to yourself and you start applying it, Krishna will pull you so fast in that direction, you'll be going, wow, I can't believe I was that person 6 months ago. It's that rapid a change. Because Krishna, in 9.10, for example, of Bhagavad Gita, he says he controls the material energy. He controls your body, the neurons in your head. He's the ultimate controller. Yeah? So you're suddenly letting the guy who controls all the energy take control. So you've got nothing to worry about. You know? And reading Bhagavad Gita is like having Krishna on your chariot. It's like going in that direction of you take control. Yeah? I understand my limitation. Yeah? Right. I went a bit quick because I wanted to talk about chanting, because there's some things like I spotted on chanting in the last few weeks. Is there any questions on this? Yeah. So if you remember that Elon Musk, if only Elon Musk was doing everything secretly, had a secret board meeting with the GBC of ISKCON, And he was like, what can you do for us? And he goes, this month we're going to do this, this guy's going to do this. Doesn't matter what the workers know, but he's doing everything for Krishna. That's renounced. That's bhakti. Yeah? Nothing for your own self-interest. What is for Krishna's interest? But you have to understand that's when all your pains go, and that's when you'll be the happiest. So you have to let go to that position. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? All we're doing, because we've come into the material world to get rid of our idea of controlling. That's what bhakti is about. Give the control back. You know, I'm not in control, give the control back. I'm going to do it for you. You know, Krishna will then take control. Yeah? This is a process of letting go of the idea you're a controller. Okay? Yeah, we have some minute independence, but that's the exercise of the pleasure of the Lord. The gopis are only interested in the next thing he wants to have fun with. Because they're not self-interested. Yeah, make sense? Yeah, okay. So I'll just talk about chanting because apart from seeing a few things on chanting, I got a few questions about it from different people on the WhatsApp. So I'll come off this. It's a shame I can't put the board up on the video. Okay. So chanting is the core exercise to progress in reducing the impact of material energy on yourself. Okay? Okay, that's the core, bringing you closer to Krishna. Okay? So these are things. It doesn't matter when you do it. These are things that you shouldn't do. Okay? Okay, because Krishna is the same as his name. He can do anything with any limb of his body. He can drink with his arm. Yeah, because he controls all those concepts of. He designed the way our material body is. Right? So he wants to drink with his arm, he can do that. It's no problem. Anything is possible for the Lord. And he is his holy name, so it is Krishna himself. Right? So if you want Krishna to manifest and come to you, you've got to approach it in a particular way, because this isn't like some average visitor, like the delivery postman coming to your house. It's Krishna, it's Supreme Lord. Okay? It's coming to your mouth. Okay, so this is not a joke thing. Okay? So first thing is this might take some time, because it took me time, okay? Don't walk around chanting.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah? Unless that's the only way you can do it, okay? But don't walk around chanting, okay? Because you're not going to be fully focused. You'll realise this eventually. At some point in your future devotional practice, you understand this. But that's because Krishna is his holy name, right? And he's now here physically in the sound vibration. He doesn't have to, he can be any form he wants. Right? He's in the sound vibration. It's like bringing him into the room and turning your back on him. You're not focused on him. Okay? So you're not going to get the benefit. It's just you're almost like wasting your time. It's a little bit beneficial because it's going in the right direction, but it's not going to be that helpful. Okay? Because when you start doing this and then compare how you were finding it before, you'll realise you were doing it wrong. Okay? Now, we don't have the habits necessarily of sitting down. It takes time. It took me 5 years to sit down in one place every morning. The same place, early in the morning, and just do it. Right? That comes with time. But with a little bit of help of these things, you might not be able to do that straight away, you might be able to do it in 6 months or a year. But if you know about it, you will occasionally go, let me sit down for 2 minutes, let me try and do another 2 minutes. And eventually you'll change your direction. Okay? Okay, so that will lead to unfocus chanting. Okay? Secondly, do not do anything else whilst you are chanting. Okay? Don't do anything else. The people I see chanters, I've been chanting for years, I can't seem to do this and can't seem to do that, I can't seem to do that, really progressive, feel purified. We're doing it for 12 years, And I watched them in a temple or somewhere, and they're walking around looking at the books and looking around, and they're getting some milk out of the fridge and they're chanting. You're not chanting. Because that's not, you're there, supposed to be there with Krishna. It's about Krishna. It's not about you getting milk from the fridge. Okay, so you should never do anything else while you're chanting. Okay, now again, this is going to take time. If you're not doing this, it's not a problem. Just start chanting. But eventually, that's where you want to be. Okay. Yeah? So because what will happen is when you do eventually start doing that, because Krishna will help you because you're trying to chant, you'll realise the difference. Yeah, and you'll accelerate. Okay. So don't do anything else while you're still doing it. Now sometimes initially people will say, oh, I've got to look, I have to walk to work, or I have to go and do this, and I can't not do it. There's no other way I can do it, right? But eventually, as they get more serious, eventually they'll find that when they do 30 rounds of Hare Krishna a day, those are the days they do the most productive work. Because of Krishna, we're so close to them, Krishna controls time, they'll get all the work done. When they surrender to that extent, okay? But that comes with time, that faith, to surrender to that extent, okay? But you start off by saying, you don't do anything else, okay? The third thing is, try and listen. Okay? The more you listen to it coming out of your mouth, the more you'll turn towards Krishna, because he's here. Okay? Because he's sound. Okay, if he was physically here, in his physical presence, you'd look at him, right? That's the senses you use. Right? So if Krishna is sound, what senses do you use to reciprocate? The ears, okay. So if you have to engage the ears, okay, that's going to increase the progress. So I haven't got my beads, so I'm not going to chant, but if I was doing the mantra, I'd do it, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I'd be listening, and that's the pace you do it, okay? Now, something miraculous happens when this happens. People never believe this, but it happens. You do all the rounds faster. It's some really weird thing. Because it's not physically, and you're getting tired after 3 rounds, because Krishna's there. Once Krishna's there, everything's energy, spiritual energy is coming, material energy is displaced, right? And it goes, that relation,
Something happens.
Yeah, exactly,
Sit down and do your rounds, something happens.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and the more you listen, because you're now facing Krishna, and Krishna's control is the ultimate controller, you're going to accelerate your bhakti, okay? So you've got to listen. Yeah? And I have often done, obviously, the more you practice, the better you get. But I've often gone, when I was really progressing, I'd stop a bead and go, I didn't listen, I'd do that bead again. Right? And honestly, I'd even finish even faster, even though I've done that bead twice, a few beads twice. Because I'm understanding that Krishna is actually in control. If I want to leave the house at 6:45, I haven't done all my chanting and all my reading of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, if I let Krishna take over, it will happen. If I try and do it, like I'm the doer, like a materialist, it's not going to happen. I'll be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, So you've got to have that little bit of faith, yeah? So that's the third point, yeah? So the more you listen, the faster you'll accelerate, okay? Fourth thing, okay? I'm going to put it this way. Somebody waited years for me to drop my ego to explain this to me, okay? Because they thought I was going to be put off if they told me this when I was a bit younger, okay? You do not chant. You do Kirtan. You do not chant without beads. Okay? Okay? And there's a very simple reason related to that. Okay? I was told what amazing devotee he's gone 50 years as a brahmachari monk, right, in Scotland. He said that is Mayavadism doing that, almost. Right? Because the reason you don't chant on beads is you realise that the best way to hear is chanting on beads. So it goes back to not focused on the sound. Okay?
So you can't use it with them?
No, do not. If you went to like an ISKCON retreat and started doing that, you'll get told off. You get told off by 10, 20 people over the weekend. You should be, if it's a good retreat. Like you don't go Hare Krishna, don't do that. You have to do it on beats. Otherwise, Prabhupada would have done it like that. Okay? The reason is what you're doing over time is you're really trying to use your senses to face Krishna like your eyes. Okay? And the beads allow you to really listen. Okay? But what will happen to clicker, it becomes about doing the rounds, not about a relationship with God. Okay? That takes a while to understand, but that's what will happen. Yeah? So now, it doesn't matter at the moment if you're not doing any of these things properly. Okay? I'm just giving it to you so that you can start to, in a few months, start to add a little bit. Because what will happen is if you add a little bit, you'll see, wow, a few weeks later, that was doing better now. Maybe I should add another bit. And before even 12, 14 months, you're getting up every day and you're doing it at 5 in the morning. You're not even sleeping until 7 or 8. Sometimes my wife, she watches TV or whatever it is, because she's not younger than me, 16 years younger, so she's pretty much where I was in Bhakti. So she needs to do all some materialistic stuff. She hasn't got material energy off her. It's not a problem, she's progressing, but she needs occasional guidance of like, okay, what is this? And sometimes she won't chant at all, she's stressed, right? or she's not in a happy mood. She just won't do it. She'll do Kirtan or something else, or just even talk to me about Bhagavad Gita class. You know? But that's where she is in her eternal journey. Okay? But as you get more serious, you have to start factoring these things in. Okay? And this I'm giving this to you because I was the most arrogant person I probably still am. I used to try and think I could do it all my own by reading books and all that stuff. And then I met some swamis. I got taken to a retreat to learn how to do japa, and sat next to someone who'd been doing it for 50 years, and then did it all properly, and I saw the difference. You know, so you're getting that benefit of me having done all that work and travelled and gone to those retreats and stuff. I'm telling you from the retreats, right? So this is what you need to do. Because ultimately you want to build that sincerity, because that's when your love is going to start to appear. Right? And these are things that are going to build your sincerity. What I do, just for my giving an example, is I tend to watch. Satchidananda Swami he's like the preeminent chanting guy on the internet now. So I tend to watch some of his 4-minute videos on chanting, just to kind of make sure. You know, if I was a professional footballer, I'd maybe look at another player and go, okay, maybe he's doing a clever little move, you know. So I'm trying to learn from him. And every night when I listen to one of the videos, I want to chant straight away. So I'm going to bed and when I go to bed, I go, I want to get up, I really want to get chanting, you know. I don't want to sleep. Sleep is ignorance. It's like a child who wants to play with a toy. Wants to get up and play with it, doesn't want to wait. So that's where you want to get to. And then that's the beginning to another road, you know. But all this is progress. So the most important thing is don't be too harsh on yourself. Yeah. You're already progressing by doing it. Yeah. But try and add these elements in. Yeah. You're not going to, if you're a person that stays awake till 1 in the morning and hasn't come to that level where you have to go and watch Netflix or something, then don't change that immediately because it will be a shock to the system. It won't be natural. You need to drip it in a little bit. You know? Maybe I'll do 45 minutes from Netflix. I'll do a round in the corner, sitting down, really trying to listen, and I'll watch more Netflix. Watch the next episode. It doesn't matter if it's materialistic, because what you're doing is you're trying to improve your chanting. And that means Krishna will see he's doing sincerity for his level or her level. That's progress. Krishna will see that sincerity. Yeah? It's not, I just suddenly should become a monk all overnight and get to the level of verse 18.2, everything is for Krishna. No, this is a progressive thing. Okay? It takes years or months to do. And so you have to have self-love. You are a part of Krishna. Yeah? So you have to love yourself. In the Bhagavad Gita, of course, we have many verses that say, you know, demoniac people hurt the body by alcohol and externalities because they understand that they are a part of God and the super soul is also there within the body. So we want to be kind to ourselves, yeah, and we want to be optimistic. And as soon as you start chanting anyway, standing up on your head while drinking water, if you're doing it all wrong, you're eventually going to do it right because you wouldn't have come here listen to this without Krishna's arrangement. Right? So you've already done something to get to know this bit. You see? So you've really got that piety to put in. So don't walk around chanting. Trying to do anything else while chanting, taking out milk bottles, looking on your phone. Yeah, because Krishna, you're hearing this Krishna through the sound vibration. Okay? Try and listen. This is probably the most important. If you do this, you won't do all the other stuff anyway. Because you'll understand that that's looking at Krishna, you wouldn't cover one eye or 2 eyes, so you won't turn your ears off. Okay? And then don't chant non-beats because they basically won't be listening if you do that. Okay? The beats are literally there so you can slow down and listen. Okay? And one of the things I used to do when I used to struggle with listening, I used to occasionally, I realised I wasn't doing it, and again as I was chanting, I tap my ear like this. I go, basically, listen. And I do that. That for me worked. It got me listening. Yeah? But it's that inculcation, the stamping in, you know? And eventually, I didn't have to do that eventually because I started doing it after a few weeks or months. Yeah. Cool. Any questions on that?
As your aim is telling us to try and increase the quality of our chanting.
Yeah. And these are methods that you can apply.
Yeah. But then, I mean, Prabhupada himself did like japa walks with all his devotees and stuff.
Yeah, okay, that's very different, okay? That's the end, and when you get to the end of a 7-year journey, yeah, and when you're chanting and he's walking and people are saying things and he's mentioning the odd thing, but he's with Krishna, Krishna's with him, totally, that's different level, that's a different level of judgment for that level, It's not the same thing as you walking around chanting. It's definitely not on me walking around chanting. Right? We are not that level of purity. Okay? If we were that level of purity, we would have left our jobs, we'd be on the street every day trying to make the world Krishna conscious. Because the only thing you want to do is something that pleases Krishna. And we're not. We want to enjoy for ourselves a little bit.
So should I just stop doing walk chanting?
Well, like in the temple room, like let's say in my college, like people were just jackal walking around.
Yeah, and that's right. But if you look to if you talk to the really senior devotees I've spoken to, right? I don't mind you put on the internet, and you can put this. Is that this? I've been told that the way you judge a temple, in terms of its emphasis on getting everyone to the right level of bhakti, is watch in the morning after Mangalarti how many people walk around doing japa. Right? Because the people, when you're walking around, you can't honestly say that if you're walking around there, you're not looking at your feet, or you're not occasionally, or you're not listening. If you're walking, how you're listening 100%. The sound of your feet's there. Because if the sound and the sight are the same, and Krishna came in the room, would you start walking around him? You wouldn't do that. But Prabhupada, Krishna and him have a deep relationship of love. And he's doing everything in his life for Krishna. Krishna won't mind him walking around him. It's different. He's at a different level. He's got a different level of punya or pious credits. Yeah? It's not the same thing as us doing it. Okay? We have to get to that level, and the only way we can get there eventually is by progress, by conscientious effort on these one is pointing. And when you just started like a few months ago, it doesn't, just chanting is a fantastic thing. Like her, the young lady. Yeah? It's all good. It's all beneficial. You don't have to worry about things like this. But when you get older, and you're doing it for like a few years, or 4 or 5 years, then you have to start looking at this stuff and go, okay, I need to progress and take it more seriously. Okay?
Makes sense.
Yeah, relish the taste of the results.
Yeah.
Of the real results.
Yeah, I'm sorry if that's a bit much. Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay. Cool.
Should I just stop? Like,
What?
I always walk to work and I have
My view is that rather cramming in 16 rounds, sometimes some people say, I've got to do 16 rounds.
I don't even get the chance. I get so tired.
Yeah, so, but if you can walk, I don't know if there's a park near your work that's 10 minutes away, you can go and do 10 minutes, which is about 2 rounds, but you can just listen to yourself. You know, the more you can do that way, if you want to get your 16 rounds done, get your 16 rounds done, but the more you can do, where you can find a 1 round where you're just listening, because you're actually then same as seeing Krishna, not having him in the room and doing something else in the corner. It's like you're actually listening with the ears. You're engaging the correct sense with the correct form of the Lord. That's what you need to be doing.
Yeah. Try and get a few good quality rounds out of your whole day.
Yeah, exactly.
And then see what the taste is like.
Yeah. And Krishna will do the rest. As soon as you know a little bit of sincerity, just pulls you more and more. Okay? And then you'll come back in a year and you'll be going, yeah, I can now do this. Not surprised, because Krishna's in charge. So of course you're going to do it. You can only be optimistic. As long as you've got a little bit of sincerity, you can only be optimistic in Krishna consciousness. Because you'll get that more sincerity to get you back. Krishna wants you to go back to Godhead. He doesn't want you to be here. This is all part of a reformation process. It's part of you coming to the end of your time in the material world after many, many births. So every little bit you put in extra, you're going to get that benefit. Hare Krishna.
Are you suggesting you should sit in the same place as well?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Because I think that just by sitting in the same place, your only then focus is how can I improve what I'm doing. There's no other element then. It's like an experiment. So you can control the level of temperature, the level of the ingredients, and then you're just going. Then that means you're just focusing on the quality of your sound. I mean, the swamis in temples, if you see them chant on the temple floor, they always sit in the same place all the time. Because it's about listening to the whole thing, getting into the chanting, hearing it in the mouth, feeling Krishna with you. Yeah? So you don't want any other thing to be altered, so you can make that easier. If you can make it 1% easier for yourself, then do it. Yeah? Don't run a marathon by putting a 25 kilo weight on one of your legs if you want a good time, because that's not a good thing to do. Right. Yeah. Actually. Oh, thank you.